Alright guys, Kevin, CPU install, right here, boys and girls. It's an AMD 3, this thing is 8 cores, it's up to 5.0 gigahertz, so this thing is pretty cool. So I'm going to open this thing up and I'm going to show you how we mount this on the board. I'm going to get into how to clean the heat sink and fan from its original gel that comes with it. I'm not a, I've talked to a bunch of buddies. They're not fans of it. I'm going to follow their advice. They've been doing this longer than I have. And yeah, and then another one of these lovely stickers that you put on the outside of your box right here. We'll put that one with the other. There's your CPU right there. It's just a little platinum chip, platinum looking chip with however many hundreds of 128 pins they used to be. I don't even know what they are now. So lots of people, lots of little kids having fun at my house right now. So I'm sure you can hear them in the background. Comes with a heat sink and a fan. And so the reason you get rid of the grease, the reason you get rid of the heat transfer paste on here is that they usually kind of just send it with some stock model junk, and it sometimes the junkier the stuff, the more insulating it is, rather than absorbing that heat and transferring, being a transfer. Sometimes you can the adhesive itself becomes more of an insulator, and then it locks the heat into your chip, and then you burn up your CPU. And that's the reason for this ginormous heat sink with coils and all that other stuff, because this thing gonna get hot. All right, so, and that's why the fan's on there, just like with the other one. You've got this radiator unit going through it, goes through the heat sink, cools through all the fans, all the fins, and then it gets drawn right off with the fan, which is just really kind of cool stuff. So we're gonna get into this in just a second. Let's start by mounting the CPU into our motherboard. Now, the main thing is, I had this happen 2 years ago. You want to make sure you don't bend any of your pins. You bend a pin, good luck trying to straighten her out, because you got 100 and however many of them you got to put back together. So, and then there's a little, you'll see a little gold arrow at the top of your chip. Oop. And somewhere over here. See the little gold arrow? That one is going to line up with your motherboard. So inside your motherboard, there's your chipset right here, and there's a little lever. You're going to lift up that lever. She's ready to receive the chip, and typically there's a little, see right there's a marker for the error. And then nice and gingerly, boom, she sits right in place. We're going to make sure she's in there. So, and you pull the lever back down, and she locks the pins right in place on that, and you're all set. So let me start working on getting this off. And sorry again about the kids and all the noise. So we're gonna start. Let's see here. I'm gonna go find me a little flat blade or something that I can kind of scratch this off with a razor blade or something. I have some pet products here. So the final step is whatever you get off, you're gonna clear the surface with this isopropyl, and then you keep it nice and dry. To remove the adhesive, I'm using Goof Off. I have some in my basement, so we're gonna use some of that on a rag and try to keep this thing as clean as possible before we add our new gel, which is something we paid an additional $8.99 for. Now that CPU we paid $64.99, I believe, so 65 bucks. And then, yeah, 8-year durability, thermal compound. This stuff is $8.99. It's I had a friend of mine recommend it to me. It's just all-around good product. So it's carbon neutral, green Arctic. Anyways, so I'm gonna go grab a flat blade, just a little razor blade to kind of chisel that off. All right, so I'm just gonna slide this razor blade across here, building the thermal goop crap off. Got some paper towels, good to have handy. So putting this junk on a paper towel. Toss it off. Go one more pass. Cool. So there's a little flat blade, one you might have laying around the house, you know, maybe in a kid's toy box or near your mirrored glass coffee table for your for your drugs. Yeah, just kidding. They're pretty handy. They're good for paint scraping. The missus does a lot of crafts and peeling vinyl and stuff like that. So we're gonna. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't even think we'll need the Goo Gone. We'll just need a little isopropyl. Which is the thing we needed. That's our final step anyway. So look at that, nice and clean. All right. So Goo Gone, don't need to use you. New paper towel. You wanna, when you're going for the rubbing alcohol, you want to use the isopropyl. That is the highest concentration. I believe the highest they sell is 91%. They might have 92 or 3, but either way, you're going to shoot for something 90 or more, just to make sure you got a nice clean surface. Fold this bad boy up, and then, ooh, it stinks. Feeling drunk, folks. Feeling drunk. Okay, yep. Another load on here. There, all clean. And we're going to take our gel, pop tab in the back here. High performance. Yeah, look at that. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we are going to shoot this gel across the top of this thing here. This stuff is supposed to be non-conductive. Makes a little bit of a mess. We're going to take the back side of our razor blade. And we're going to just spread a thin-ish layer across the entire metallic surface of the top of our CPU. Our goal is to spread out air bubbles and other things like that. You want it roughly the thickness of the resin. I think what is it, paraffin? So nice thick layer. Like cake frosting. And all right. So we're going to aim our We're going to aim our fan so that it can be hooked into the motherboard. Let's sort of side that one over. So you hook the tab on the one side. All right. So. All right. Give me 1 second while I fight with this thing, but it does clip on both sides. You clip it in, and then we'll pull the lever here in just a second. All right, guys, so it just took a little bit. There's a little weevil on here. You just make sure you slide it down. You pop it in. It locks on the top and the bottom, and then you're going to just... and then you flip that switch. Now towards the top of your motherboard, there should be, you'll watch the groove pattern on this. There's going to be a 4-pin, and on the motherboard itself should label CPU fan. It up with how the grooves actually work. There should be a notch in there, so you can only put it one direction, so you're actually just sending the right, you know what I mean, commons, neutrals, sensors, anything like that. However it's wired, go proper into this thing, and for the most part, that's it. You're ready to rock. So obviously, I told you guys earlier, we're waiting on the parts for the hard drive. I've temporarily hooked it in. It's a solid state, so as long as we don't move it around too much, you should be fine. I'm going to do the next video where I'm just kind of putting this thing together real quick, tying her in. And we'll just test her up, make sure she boots, make sure everything it's reading the BIOS and stuff like that, and then I can go in and load, I use Windows 10, so we'll load that on there, and should be good to go. Thanks for, we'll catch you guys on the next video.